Hi, I'm Josh, Josh Woods. Through my whole life I was always into action sports. I loved motocross, snowboarding, BMX, skateboarding. Anything that was expensive, had an element of danger to it, I loved it. I don't mean that in a corny way. You don't think about the danger at the time. It's not until you get old and you feel every accident in your bones. I was a cocktail barman because I wanted to travel and snowboard and see how far I could push the sport and see whether I could become professional. And on June 25th, 2000, I attempted to jump a road on a snowboard and came about 7 to 8 feet short and landed on the back of my neck on C7, and that's when I fractured 4 vertebrae, destroyed C7, and that's when my new story started. I was airlifted out of Bulla, sent to Austin, and they didn't think I'd survive the flight, and that's when we learnt how severe my injury was. We still didn't know at that stage. I knew it was bad because I was awake and felt it, and I knew I'd lost my arms, my legs, all movement. But I hadn't really. You always have in the back of the mind, maybe I could be all right, and that's when I woke up 3 days later and realised that they might have fixed me internally, but this was now going to be my life. And so she brought the duty doctor in. About 5 minutes later he came in and he looked at me and he said, he was really blunt with me, I remember that. And he said, all you sportsmen are the same, you're never happy until you're paralysed or dead. You're always pushing it too far and congratulations, you'll never walk again. And it just hit me like a hammer. I had hope and that was just completely smashed. And Mum came in to the hospital and straight away she just said, those bastards told you, didn't they? And I said, yeah, Mum, I don't want to be like this. I can't be like this. And my mum, she said, no, you're going to walk again, Josh. I know that if anyone's going to be able to make a recovery, it's you. I don't know what that recovery is going to be, but you can't give up. Whether you don't walk again, it doesn't matter, but you just got to not give up. And that, in our mind, recovery was something better than what I had at that time. Whether it was even brushing my teeth, whether it was scratching my nose, whether it was just to be able to eat for myself, that was recovery. And we always talk about recovery, but it's not about walking, it was getting some sort of life back. And so I chose to fight. I chose small steps every single day. I obviously wanted to walk again, but I made small achievable goals. And within a few days I noticed a few things, and then within a week I noticed more things. And then within 2 weeks my big toe moved, and I sat there looking at my big toe for 2 weeks straight. And then I finally figured out how to connect my brain to my toe, and I flickered my toe. And so every time that they told me I couldn't do something, they realised it just gave me more energy to do more and to prove them wrong. And I loved it. I loved making them angry. Well, this June will be 18 years since my accident. So I've nearly been half my life like this now. I've been in this body for 18 years now, and every day is a constant battle. So now it's the mental side that's harder these days. It's just, I can't have come this far just to keep it all to myself. I did for a long time. And when I talk about recovery, it's not about walking. And, I do get a lot of heat because I walk and people say, well, you're never as bad as what you say you were. Well, I give them my MRI and say, well, no, I was. And I still am. I've just stood up and I walk, and I don't take that for granted. So my biggest thing is I like to share my story now to hopefully inspire people to just not give up. I'm very fortunate that I had a loving family and friends that hung around and helped ignite that flame, and every time I got better they celebrated, and that's what kept me going. I heard some stories about young people that went to homes and stuff, but I realised how bad it is. People are committing suicide because they feel like they have no other option. If they're going to be in an old person's home, where are they? They're not going to feel like they're going to have a life. You already don't have a life when you're in rehab. Then when you go to like a retirement village or like an old person's home, like it's just going to kill every part of you. So to have something like White House is just going to save so many lives. I think that was when I actually first broke down, was when I spoke at the White House Gala, and I had a photo of my son in the slide, and I turned it around, and when I looked at it I just saw everything I'd achieved. I'm not going to take a single moment for granted that I have with him, because he wasn't even an option. And me having a wife wasn't even an option when I first had my injury. Like who was going to love me for what I was going through? Then when I met Amelia and then had AJ, it's not about looking at what I can't do, it's what I can do. Now Mum's doing that walk across America. Honestly, I wouldn't be here without her. That's just the start of it. And it's just been emotional, just watching her, and this walk has given my mum a purpose too. And whether it's one life or 100 lives, 200, thousands of lives she's going to help change, it's all worth it. She's just so tough. I don't know how she's done it. Just to watch her finish her goal is massive. You know, like Mum was there for so many of my monumental goals that I finished. So I think it was only fitting. The hardest thing was just the financial side, and fortunate enough we were able to, because of White House, that you gave us that option to be able to go over there and make it a reality. So I just think it's going to be amazing to be able to watch Mum finish her goal and walk into Washington DC. So yeah, I can't wait to get over there. I can't wait to get over there and be there, and I'm just so grateful for White House to step up and help in such a massive way to get us over there and make it possible. It's something I'll never forget.